impacting lives.
Now, a very good morning to you, and many thanks for having time to be with us on the Leadership Wednesday show, this being the 20th of March 2024. We are glad that you found time to be with us. Of course, you know, when we are having Leadership Wednesday, it's all matters about leadership in the country, giving you an opportunity and also giving you a chance to also participate in making our leadership better. As we always say in this particular program, everything rises and falls on leadership. And therefore, we are a reflection of the leadership that we have. And so, we have a duty to better our leadership. You're so much glad. And today, we want to look at this particular subject that has actually hit the headlines, especially this week, painting a very, very glim picture. And that is the number or the rising number of road carnage. The rising number of road carnage, and that is what we want to look at now. We've lost quite a number of people in the country as a result of the different accidents that we've been witnessing in the different parts of the country, and this is very sad. This is very unfortunate. Now we are asking ourselves, what is it that is leading, or what is it that is causing these accidents? Because this is something that we've been actually grappling with as a nation for a very, very long time. What is it that has not been done? What needs to be done? And actually the question that we are asking you today is what needs to be done to effectively end road accidents? Can we have a nation, can we have a society where road accident will be a thing of the past, something that you can actually say now it doesn't really exist? It has happened in other parts of the world. Why is it not in our country? Now, this is going to be a very rigorous conversation that we're going to hold here. We have a guest that in a little while we'll be able to introduce. That is Pastor Steve Wamboa. He's also a manager at Prestige Shuttle Services and also a transport consultant. He'll be here to help us now that he has some experience in this particular field. Definitely we believe that he can have some ideas on what needs to be done for us to once and for all deal with this particular matter. You're most welcome, and of course I have my colleague Kagi to help me drive this particular program today. Kagi, good morning and good to see you.
Yes, fine, I'm well this morning, and I thank God for this day. As you have likely said, that today we are going to expound deeply on the situation of our roads, whereby Kenyans are losing lives day in, day out. We are going to look at this matter more in depth. And I want to welcome you once again to the program. My name is Paul Kagi. Stay tuned.
Absolutely, and definitely we want you, our viewer, to interact with us as much as possible. We've already put out a question for you there. What needs to be done as a Kenyan, as a citizen? And of course, I know also as a road user or as a transport user, because I think when you talk about transport, we all in one way or another use transport, be it matatu, be it maybe boda boda and tuk-tuk and so on and so forth. So we all in one way or another are parties to this particular subject, and of course we need therefore to be assured, and we need to have a guarantee of our safety. What do you think needs to be done? What do you think needs to be done to effectively end the road menace, the road carnage that we've been witnessing in the country? You can begin as soon as now to give us your reflections and perspectives on this particular topic. You know the drill. 23814 is free of charge. That is for shortcut platform. And of course, you can also catch us on our social media pages, YouTube, MBCI TV official, we're live, and also on Facebook, that is MBCI TV. As we continue with the program, we'll be able to highlight some of those feedback and see how you also maybe contribute, or what your opinion is as far as this particular subject is concerned. But of course, before we go there, as we always do in this particular program, Kagi, quite a number of other items that have been making headlines across this 1 week.
Yes, Mangicho, thank you so much. As usual, we are going to give you an analysis of what is happening within our country. And one of the issue that is very, very heavy today is regarding to the president himself assenting into law the Affordable Housing Bill yesterday at State House Nairobi, and now it is very official that the house levy is back, which is 1.5% of all salaried Kenyans, that you have to part way with 1.5 of your salary to be able to cater for the housing bill. As the president put sign to this bill, there are some areas which has been rechecked and rectified, because before this bill was assented yesterday by the president, it was presented by a court injunction not to allow any government official and KRA to be able to take the 1.5% of Kenyan salaries. And yesterday there were some gray areas which were really observed, because one of the areas this bill was being questioned was it was a bit discriminative, that only for the salaried and employed can be able to access the affordable housing. But this matter has been rechecked, especially to make sure that the so-called Mama Mboga or Wanjiko can now be able to access this house. How? By yesterday, anybody who is earning around 20,000 shillings and below is able to acquire what they are calling the social housing for them. That if you are earning 20K and below, you can be able to get a house through the housing levy. And then if you are getting around 140,000 and below, or above for that matter, you can be able to get your house. These are the people we are calling the middle class, and the other one are the lower class persons. And then if there was a cap whereby if you want to get at this house, you have to pay 10% of that house, it has been removed. You know, it was a controversial clause within the bill whereby if you wanted this this house, you have to part away with, you give 10% deposit of that money, which many Kenyans could not be able to afford because it was coming up to millions of shillings. As we continue with the same, the bill is trying to help Kenyans to get a job, according to the president, who is saying around 300,000 young people will be able to get employment to 500,000 people. And the great thing about this is that anybody can be able to subscribe to this program, whereby President is very passionate about. In fact, they are calling it his pet program, to provide affordable housing to every Kenyan. And yesterday, when he was assenting the bill, there were present of artisans, carpenters, plumbers, masons were all there, because one of his vision is to ensure that those people who are doing plumbing, those who are doing carpentry, those who are doing masonry work, are the same people who are young people. They don't have a job, to go and get the subcontracts from there and also vibarua from that place. So the house levy is here, Mangicho, and the new law allows now the hustler to own home without many handles.
Sure, and I truly saw the president yesterday. He was very upbeat about the program, but of course we've also seen quite a number of critics of this particular program coming out and really showing a lot of disappointment in the assenting of this particular bill into law. And I think now what awaits us, Kagi, is to be able to see, because now that it is law, the implementation stage is now, I think, what will really make or break this particular program. And one thing that I want to say, Kagi, is that if this program is actually going to succeed, and we are all hopeful, we want to be as optimistic as possible, and I believe it's actually going to translate to the cadre of the society that we are talking about, the Mama Mbogas, the border borders. If you're actually going to see their social status in terms of maybe even where they live, where they stay, actually being uplifted, then I think it's really going to be a major milestone in President Ruto's government, and it will actually do this particular government a lot of, or it will actually give it a lot of credit and even a lot of milestone in terms of even maybe getting a very, very strong backup towards maybe the next general election.
Yeah.
However, I feel if it's going to backfire, and not to say that that is what we are looking forward to, because there are people who have been actually saying, or the people who have actually been raising some points in terms of how the entire, or how maybe the entire program has actually been brought out. The issues like maybe, for example, how this particular funding is going to be managed, whether we have a central source, where these particular levies that are going to be deducted from different Kenyans, where it's actually going to be put together, the central position, and also some of these things. And then, of course, Kagi, also the aspect of how possible is it even for those Kenyans that are required to pay some of these rent. I'm told it's maybe going to be around 3,000, and maybe what is the possibility that we have quite a number of Kenyans that are actually going to pay for this rent, so that maybe after that they can be able to be the owners and to actually be the legitimate occupiers of these particular homes. So I think that is something that we are actually going to wait. But as you've said, now it is law. That is a levy that every Kenyan that is salaried will have to be deducted.
Yeah, my thinking on the 3,000 or 4,000 is that if you pay rent of 3,000 shillings or 4,000, once the houses are over, you can be able to be given one if you need. And the money that you are using to pay rent, if it is 3,000 or 4,000, you can use the same money. Instead of paying rent to whoever you are paying, this money goes to the housing fund, all right? But there are some areas which were not really addressed, which is still pending, and which were the main concerns of the opposers of the bill. Number one, they really were fighting, and these were some of the areas that those who were opposing the bill in Parliament were introducing as the changes in the bill. Number one, the deductions to be capped at 2,500. That means that anybody who is paying this money, you cannot pay more than 2,500 shillings, whether you are earning 100,000, 1M, but the limit should be 2,500. The other one, there was a proposal which didn't go through in Parliament, that people in business with annual turnover of less than 288,000 should be exempted from paying the house levy. The other one was that anybody who is paying for a mortgage should be exempted from the house levy. And the other one is individuals aged between 50 and above, and they are in informal business activities, should not pay. You see, if you are 50 years and above, they were proposing they should not pay this levy. The other one was those residing in rural areas and own land should not be taxed. That is, if you have a land in village, you should not be taxed in the house levy. The last one was the employee with less than 5 years to retire to be exempted. Yeah?
Yes.
Right. As we continue, there was a very positive story that is coming from our counties, that the city, that is Nairobi, Narok, and Kiambu, they are leading in generating own source of revenue. It's a very positive story. And somebody was asking Mangicho, because we are having a problem with the sending of the county revenue, maybe because of the less money that the government is collecting.
Right.
There's push and pull between the national government and county government in getting their revenue. I think the best way for our counties is to sit down and look at how every county can stand on its own. That is, a county to collect its own revenue, instead of waiting for the government, the national government, to come and provide money for them.
Sure.
At this time now we have several counties which are really coming up very well. The first one is Nairobi, which is collecting around 1.64 billion shillings. This is a good gesture. This 1.4 billion is coming from the specific counties. Nyeri is also doing very well, 569. Which one? Nyandarua, 222 million. But away from Nairobi, which is leading, the Narok County is collecting 2.9 billion shillings. I don't know whether it is because of the Savo Reserve. Is it in Narok or Kajiado? I think they are getting more money from the tourists.
Okay.
But Narok is doing very well, 2.9 billion shillings. The other one is Kiambu, which is now collecting 1.6 billion shillings as compared to previous years, 1 billion shillings. So this is a good gesture from the counties. I think they have relooked at how they are operating, and they feel they need to look for a way to do what they call the standalone.
Exactly, Kagi. Just as you've said, it's quite a good gesture, and essentially that should actually be the goal, and that should be it should actually be the objective of devolution, because we have this devolved unit, and the main essence was basically to ensure that at least we don't have services centralized.
Right.
And I think when we have an information like this one, that we have some of these counties generating quite positive kind of revenue, it goes a long way in also encouraging other counties. And I think we've been able also to witness quite a number of counties also now holding conferences, looking at some of the ways in which they can be able to harness the process and maybe even the activities of having investment in their counties. And this will go a long way in developing those counties, and of course also helping wananchi from those particular areas, so that we have a lot of opportunities for them. Let's see industries being established there. Let's see businesses are booming, and those who are actually interested in investing in some of these counties actually having it simple. And now that we are having these very positive revenue being collected.
Yes.
Now the other question is now, how do we use this particular revenue? So we really need to see counties, and we really need to see ideas. We really need to see how people can actually brainstorm, stakeholders both in the national government, KAGI, and also maybe even in this county government. We see what are some of the ways in which we can actually ensure that the resources that we are pulling up from these particular counties can also be taken back and ensure that services are expanded. We have projects, investment projects actually also being expanded and broadened, so that we have wananchi actually being helped, because I want to believe that it would be very, very good, and it would actually encourage so many people when they can be able to see that, for example, I'm in Kisumu, I'm in Eldoret, I'm in Uasin Gishu County. It is much easier for me to get service from that particular. I can actually even benefit in terms of maybe the investment opportunities that are there. So it is quite important. The other counties should follow suit, and also let us be able to see that these resources that are gotten there, we can also see they are being used to also help those counties.
Yeah, and there's one common denominator among our counties, whereby every county, when it comes to development, they are thinking of education sector, which is a very good idea. But I think they are lacking a balance in terms of ensuring that our regions are well represented. For example, we are having a very few infrastructural development in our counties, roads and hospitals, but everybody is going for education. And what is lacking is balancing on the distribution of our development infrastructure. And maybe by the counties being able to have its own revenue, it is going to give them a good platform to be able even to go deeper into other infrastructural development within the counties.
Absolutely.
Right.
That is awesome, and of course we are looking forward to that, and also hoping that at least things will be good. There was another story that KAGI I saw, and I think we mentioned it last time, and
yes.
Different farmers across different areas, they're still complaining, they're still crying out that, and of course, you know, we are approaching the season of actually planting, but apparently we are not seeing the affordable fertilizer, and there is also a cry that we are even farmers are not getting seeds even as we approach the planting season. So we just want to hope that the Ministry of Agriculture is doing all possible to help farmers, because I can imagine most farmers were actually expecting that they would get this affordable fertilizer. That was also a very, very major promise of this particular government, and you can imagine the number of Kenyans that are actually depending on farming as their source of livelihood. So most of them are saying that they are going to NCPBs across different towns only to be told, no, this fertilizer is not available. So we really want to hope that something can be done in relation to that.
Yes, and because there was an expose regarding to fake fertilizer, Mangicho, it's good for the government to come out with a mechanism on to help farmers. If we don't have the affordable fertilizer, there must be a plan B. And our Minister for Agriculture is so silent. I don't know where he went. Because if farmers are saying if the government does not provide affordable fertilizer, then it's going to provide an avenue for the cartels and for the guys who develop and create fake fertilizers to bring it in market.
Absolutely.
Even away from the fertilizer, they're also crying there is few seeds. You know, in every region has its own seed they use because of the type of the soil.
Yeah.
They're also saying that the seed they require in specific areas, if you go to National Cereals and Produce Board, it is not available too. And therefore, is a matter that should be addressed seriously. And I'm asking myself, Mangicho, what are the members of parliament from these regions, which are known for doing maize agriculture, not raising questions in parliament? They should raise questions in parliament. They summon the Minister for Agriculture to come and tell Kenyans exactly what is happening, so that they can be able to plan themselves. Because the affordable fertilizer is 2,500 shillings. The other one is around 6,000 plus.
Absolutely.
And many farmers are prepared to pay 2,500. Now, if you tell them to go to pay 6,000 shillings, that means they are going to plant without fertilizer. Which is going to lower the maize yields at the end of the year.
Absolutely. And I think we can now at this particular juncture introduce our guest in the show. Remember, if you're catching us right now, we want to delve into this particular subject. Quite unfortunate events that we've been able to see, incidents of road carnages that have been happening across just this 1 week. And our guest in the studio is Pastor Steve Wambua. He's also a transport consultant and manager at Prestige Shuttle Services. Karibu sana, and good to have you today in the Leadership Wednesday show.
Thank you so much, Magicho.
Yes.
I really thank God for this great opportunity to be part of this leadership show. I also want to pass my sincere condolences to the families and friends of the people that have been affected this week because of the accidents. It is quite unfortunate, and I really want to pass my sincere condolences to them. Yes.
Yeah, and actually, thank you so much even for that, because just a quick glimpse of what has actually been happening. We've lost, I think, 12 students from Kenyatta University. They were actually traveling to Mombasa, and they had a crash there with a truck. And then this week again, we also have an accident that occurred in Bomet County involving a matatu and also a tractor. Again, we lost 5 people and injuring 18 others. And we also had, I think, an accident in Marigat involving a school bus. Again, lost a teacher and also lost a student. And these are just accidents that have just been highlighted. I don't know, Pastor Wambua, well, how did you receive these news now, also coming from the background of transport industry?
As I've said before, it is quite unfortunate because losing lives, and especially the promising young high school students, it is quite unfortunate. These are young men and women that have a destiny in life. They are looking forward to their future. They were in school. They have great potential. So this is a kind of a news that you receive, and it brings you down because it is quite unfortunate. And also the events, the occurrence of the events within a span of a very short time along Mombasa Road, you have said in Bomet and also in Baringo, the span of the happening is really a very short span. And it is something that we don't anticipate. It is something that I believe if the right measures are put in place, some of these things they are quite unfortunate. And I believe with the right structures and with the right policies and mechanisms and the cooperation with the government agencies, these are things that can be really avoided in future.
Wow.
Yes.
That is awesome. What do you think, because I know later on we'll be looking at even maybe why we have, or what could be the causes of these accidents, and maybe even, I know there is some intervening measures that you're being told even the government wants to put. But what do you think are some of the impacts when we have some of these carnages?
When we have such road accidents and crashes, there is a great impact that is directly associated to their families that have lost a breadwinner. There's a family that has lost a loved one. There are some people that will be able to be permanently disabled in future. They cannot be able to work for their livelihood in future. So the impact is really great. Loss of life, loss of income in a family. And some family structures are really affected due to such things. So the impact is really great.
Wow.
Yes.
Could there be a scenario, just before I bring Kagi, could it be that as a country maybe we've gotten so much used to this, and maybe we are not really looking or actually appreciating that this impact can actually be too much for us as a society?
I think, in my honest opinion, the government needs to be proactive, not reactive. Because there are some measures that the government can be able to put in place, not just reacting after the incident. Okay. Because if you can be able to look at the statistics. In 2022, we lost about 4,600 persons in Kenya due to road accidents. 2022, and the number really went down to around 4,000 in the year 2023. So it really went down. But I believe if the government can be proactive with some measures and structures that will be consistent, these things can really be avoided. Not just waiting. There are some times when the accidents are down. There are some times when the accidents are really the numbers increases. That is when you see the government. Yeah. Then after they subsidize with time, then things go back to normal.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and of course, when Pastor Steve, maybe just to ask, because there seems to be a serious blame game.
Yes.
Whereby, if you hear to the CS for transport, he seems to blame the absence of NTSA on roads.
Yes.
That's why we are having this problem. If you go to traffic policemen, they have their own story. If you go to public, they have their own narrative. Yes. Regarding to the whole thing. And therefore, there's a lot of serious blame game from all corners. According to you, maybe, who is to take the responsibility over this carnage?
Road safety is a collective responsibility. It's a collective responsibility. It begins with me and you.
Right.
That is the first place whereby we need to check. It is a collective responsibility. But again, the government takes the big chunk of the deal. And again, we have these government agencies, like the traffic police are enforcing the Traffic Act. And then the NTSA, this is a government agency that was formed on an Act of Parliament.
Right.
They are mandated to plan, they are mandated to control accident and loss of life on the roads. There is also the licensing part of it, which is mandated to the NTSA. And these government agencies, in most cases, they don't work between the two government agencies. It worked before. The NTSA were on the road. Out of experience, there are some things that could happen. The NTSA could say that is the responsibility of the traffic police. Yeah. Then when you go to the traffic police, they tell you that is the responsibility of the NTSA. And this is the same government that is entitled to protect lives and properties. So I believe if these government agencies can be able to cooperate in future together, work together, and have a MAT agency approach to the road safety, I think some of these things can be tackled.
Well, Kagi, if we could just take a short break, then we come back as you escalate to the point that you are having a matter in details. We are coming back. Don't go too far away.
MBCI Television, transforming lives.
On the 20th of March 2024 from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The venue